All right, everyone. We have a new filing, Regulation NMS, 300 pages long. It's going to take me a minute, but this is a joint filing, originally filed in 2020. Exchanges affected are SIBO, BYX, SIBO BZX, SIBO EDGA, SIBO EDGX, Investors Exchange, Long Term Stock Exchange, MEMX, NASDAQ BX, NASDAQ ISE, NASDAQ PHLX, NASDAQ Stock Market, New York Stock Exchange, New York Stock Exchange American, NYSE ARCA, Chicago, and National. This is not the consolidated audit trail. This is just an order creating a joint industry plan for a national market system plan regarding consolidated equity market data. Now, this is holy crap. Let me just tell you the reason I'm sharing this, I'm not anywhere near done with this. It's 300 pages long, but I am on page 4, I think, and I'm already jacked so much I had to share this with you. Okay, so basically affects most of the lit exchanges. This is the background here. Filed August 11th originally, August 11th, 2020. Jointly filed by all the exchanges aforementioned in the previous slide. October 13th, 2020, published for comment on the Fed Register. January 11th, 2021, the SEC instituted proceedings to approve or disapprove. August 6th, 2021, SEC approves the CT plan. Oh, wait, I didn't follow that right. Shit. April 8th, 2021, the SEC extends deadline to June 10th, 2021. Sorry. June 9th, they further extended to August 9th, and then August 6th, today, the SEC approves the CT plan. And the next step would be for it to be published on the Fed Register for public inspection. That's to be determined. The date of implementation equals the day it shows up on that recently published section of the Fed Register, unless otherwise noted in the filing, which I'm not sure because I haven't dug in that far yet. Now, I've already done the last part here, so let's go ahead and take a look. This is the overall filing structure. So each one of these is a section within the filing that discusses what this is about. The most notable is implementation of the CT plan. We'd want to know when it's going to be implemented. Definitions, define a lot of shit in here. I'm sure there's a lot of terminology that will need to be defined. Dissolution and termination, capital contributions, regulatory matters, exculpation and indemnification, advance payment, appearance as a witness, non-exclusivity of rights. A lot of juicy shit in here. But I wanted to share with you so far what I've found or what I've seen in this filing, and just want you to go through this with me. It's pretty crazy. So basically, the commission's authority to modify this plan. Okay, so they basically had a bunch of people, when they just approved this, a bunch of commenters who were delaying this and delaying this and delaying this over and over again, like we've seen with the cat. This time we got a lot of comments that I guess they're fed up with this crap also, and the set got bombarded with comments. Basically, it says right here, one commenter urges the commission not to make substantial modifications to the CT plan. Oh yeah, so basically what happened is the SEC came into this plan and they made changes. The SEC themselves has made changes to this, not the self-regulatory organizations. The SEC has gone in here and overwritten some of these rules that they've written and made changes, and they didn't even notify the SROs about it, and they were pissed. So let's read on. Several commenters argued that before modifying the CT plan, the commission should publish notice for public comment of the specified changes it proposes. One commenter urges the commission not to make substantial modifications to the CT plan in an order purporting to approve the plan without providing the opportunity for public comment, asserting that the public comment is required by the Administrative Procedure Act. So they're getting butthurt, and they're saying, oh, but you have to follow the APA. Okay. And then Supernote 17 says to reference a letter. If you wanted to look at that, go right ahead. Basically, in that letter, the commenter argues that any changes to the governance of the SIP operating committees should be made through amendments to the current plans. As the commission explained in the governance order, one of its goals was to reduce redundancies, inefficiencies, and inconsistencies among the 3 existing equity data plans by replacing them with a new single plan. So I guess the SEC said, you know what, F you, you're taking too long. And Gary Gensler's like eating his spinach because he's about ready to take these mofos down, is what this is looking like. One commenter asserts that the notice provides an insufficient opportunity for comment, arguing that the commission has not stated its position regarding any of the 62 separate topics of interest identified in the notice, or proposed any specific textual changes upon which the SROs and other persons can meaningfully comment. The commenter further argues that this approach does not comply with the notice and comment obligations under the Act, Rule 608. You know what the SEC's reply was? The Commission does not agree that it is required to publish notice for the specified purpose plan language in order to modify a proposed NMS plan. Under Rule 608, the Commission can wipe these nuts on your face, pretty much is what they're saying. So that's great. It says if it finds that such plan is necessary or appropriate in the public interest. See, I'm telling you guys, it's us. It's all the eyes on it. And this is working. We're seeing it work. We've only been stalling out for this long because they have no other options. It's either stall it out or you know what I mean? It's like playing chess. It's like you can go in for the checkmate, you know what I mean? Or you can like F up and then now you're looking at a stalemate. Basically, if we find it's necessary or appropriate in public interest, we're going to go ahead and say F you. We're going to go ahead and remove these impediments. We're going to go ahead and protect investors and mean it this time. Hopefully, we'll see. I've read that in every filing. This bullshit sentence of for the protection of investors and the maintenance of fair and orderly markets. Yeah, haven't seen it yet. Hopefully, this is the first time, but it gets better. So then they go on to describe their authority to modify this plan. And they say the recitals of the CT plan set forth in this procedural history of the CT plan, the proposed schedule for implementation of the CT plan, and the SRO's acknowledgement of their regulatory obligations with respect to the CT plan. As discussed below, the Commission is modifying certain of the recitals with respect to the timeline for implementation of the CT plan, as well as the recital of the regulatory obligations of the SROs to the CT plan. So they're saying not only are we going to modify the obligations put forth in this plan, but we're also going to modify the timeline of it being implemented. And by the way, a recital, all that is an enumeration or listing of connected names, facts, or elements. It's not like a dance recital. We're not going to a dance recital. So the recitals of the CT plan set forth in the procedural history of the CT plan. Well, that's a duplicate paragraph. I got so excited I duplicated the same paragraph. Hold on. It's a long one. Okay, I guess that slide didn't need to be that big. Okay, cool. Anywho, so basically they went on to make some changes to the implementation plan or the timeline, and this is what they said. So the self-regulatory organizations, that's what the SRO is, right? They're the ones that get to make these rules. Like they're the ones that do the filings. When you see an SRO proposal, the people that are doing the corrupting activities are the ones making these rules. So this time they put their plan forth, and instead of the SEC approving it, they said, no, hold on. Let me look at this. So this was their plan, right? This was their plan that they implemented. They said, we want the operative date. We're going to go ahead and define that as the first day of the month that is at least 90 days after the latest of 5 specified tasks have been accomplished. That their voting representatives and non-SRO voting representatives of the operating committee have been selected. Like, let us select our committee people first. Let us establish fees and make sure they're effective as an amendment. We need to write a whole amendment to this plan. They're basically saying we want to delay this as much as freaking possible because we don't want this plan to be approved. And they also said agreements have been entered with the processors currently performing under the CQ plan, the consolidated CTA plan. Fuck, what does that mean? We'll get back to that. And the UTP plan. Those are all, I know, data fees. I just can't think of the acronym name off the top of my head. So anyways, this was their plan. They want all these conditions met before the SEC approves it. You know what the SEC response was? Well, in the notice, the commission sought comment on whether the timing provisions might result in undue delay. So they took this idea, put it out for public comment, and this is what people said. In response to the notice, the Commission received a number of comments supporting changes to the CT plan to establish specified timeframes within which the requisite actions must occur for the CT plan to be effective. Those are probably the corrupting actors. These commenters expressed concern that the absence of specified deadlines in the CT plan will cause the SROs to unduly delay its implementation. Okay, that's good. Never mind. They want it. They want specified timeframes. Sorry. So they're saying without specified timeframes, these SROs are going to unduly delay this implementation, like we saw with the cat. Specifically, one commenter argues that it would be nonsensical to rely on the self-regulatory organizations, many of whom have no incentive to change the current governance structure, to take actions on a timely basis to ensure the implementation of the plan. Another commenter acknowledges that the SROs will have significant control and influence over how and when the necessary steps to implement the CT plan are completed, and asserts that without a reasonable deadline or target date for completion, there is a significant risk that implementation will be delayed indefinitely, undermining important public policy goals. Another commenter similarly argued that the CT plan fails to meet the core objectives of the Commission's governance order because the required number of steps would delay full implementation of the plan for an indefinite period, possibly years. One commenter acknowledges that there will be some work in implementing the CT plan, but states that the lack of deadlines and the number of conditions associated with the effective and operative dates are very concerning. Another commenter recommends that the Commission closely monitor implementation and potentially penalize the SROs for unwarranted delays. Another one points to the National Market System Plan governing the Consolidated Audit Trail, the CAT plan. Remember the CAT? It literally just got delayed again. They brought that up as a cautionary tale, resulting from a lack of deadlines or accountability in meeting them, while another commenter favorably promotes the CAT NMS plan's use of target deadlines for critical implementation deadlines, quarterly progress reports, and financial incentives. Two commenters recommended making the effective date of the plan the date of the Commission's approval order. They're like, just go ahead and approve it today. We want it done now, without regard to the proposed delay for the administrative step of filing the LLC agreement with Delaware. One commenter does not express a view about the propriety of a 10-day requirement, but recommends that the SROs be required to file the LLC certificate of formation with Delaware as promptly as the Commission determines is practicable following Commission approval of the plan. They want this shit done. People are sick of this crap. So, I mean, they just go on and on and on. All of these are comments. Like, I've never seen so many comments piled in here, and it's all against the SROs. And you know what the sec's response was to all this? While the Commission recognizes the challenges associated with completing the actions required for the implementation of the CT plan, the Commission also believes that the SROs have the relevant expertise and experience both with respect to operating NMS plans generally and with respect to dissemination of equity market data specifically to implement the CT plan. Get wrecked. Get wrecked. Oh, I can't wait to break this one down. Sec's going for the jugular. Stay jacked, y'all. I'll link this below.